Okay, good morning to all, and we are starting with this unit number 2, orthographic projections and projection of points. So what is mean by the orthographic projection? So orthographic is a single view. Single view means single view of a object, that is front view of the object if object is placed in front of a you. Top view of a object, you are looking that object from the top, and these views or those visible lines, projection lines, are perpendicular to the plane on which you are drawing that view of the object, that is front view of the object. So lines or projection lines are perpendicular. Top view of the object, lines are perpendicular to the object as well as plane, and those lines are parallel to each other. So not getting exactly what exactly perpendicular projection lines to the object or to the plane. So now we will consider the object like elephant. So you know that elephant, and if you are looking the elephant from all the sides, you know how exactly it's going to look like from the front side, from the top side, from the back side, or from the right side, left side, that. So we'll see how to draw elephant normal people. So this is the normal elephant view, and if engineering drawing we are considering, so these are the views of elephant. So front view, so you can see here the front view of the elephant. So you are looking elephant from this direction, so this is the front view of the elephant. You are looking from this direction, so this is the front view. You are looking from this direction, so this is the front view of the elephant. If you are looking this elephant from the top, this is the top view of the elephant. You are looking from the top, you are looking this elephant from the top. So you are going to look for the two-dimensional view of the elephant. This is the two-dimensional view of the elephant, that is length of the elephant and height of the elephant. Length of the elephant and height of the elephant. So you can see here for the top view, length of the elephant and width of the elephant. Here length of the elephant, height of the elephant. You can see here length of the elephant and width of the elephant. Side view, you are looking from the back side, so you are looking like this view. So this is the back view of the elephant, or we can see that you are looking for this elephant from the left side view, left side of your front view. So you are getting here the back side of the elephant. So this is the width of the elephant, so this distance, width of the elephant. So this is the width of the elephant, this is the height of the elephant. Again this side view will come on the right side, so this view is looking like width of the elephant and height of the elephant. So how to draw these views? So for drawing these views we require some planes, reference planes or drawing sheets. So how to consider those planes in the engineering graphics for this particular orthographic projection, we will see in the next slide. So two reference planes required for these drawings for the front view and top view. Those are the vertical plane and horizontal plane. Vertical plane, short form VP, vertical plane, short form VP. Horizontal plane, short form is the HP. Horizontal plane, short form is the HP. Horizontal plane means you are looking at towards a object, the object is in front of you, so you will get the projection of all these points of the elephant on that particular plane. So that plane is vertical plane, perpendicular to the ground. If you are looking from the top, all these points get projected on that plane is parallel to the ground, so you will get the projection of a top view on the horizontal plane, projection of a top view on the horizontal plane, projection of the front view on the vertical plane, projection of the front view on the vertical plane, projection of the top view on the horizontal plane. Okay, next slide. Okay, so is there any other plane with horizontal plane and vertical plane? Yes. So we'll see the classification of planes. So classification planes like principal planes and auxiliary planes. Principal planes and auxiliary planes. So principal planes are horizontal plane and vertical plane. Horizontal plane HP and VP are the principal planes, main reference planes. So this horizontal plane is plane parallel to the ground surface. Plane parallel to the ground surface is a horizontal plane, and vertical plane is the plane perpendicular to the ground surface. So vertical plane becomes perpendicular to the horizontal plane. Vertical plane perpendicular to the ground surface or horizontal plane parallel to the ground surface. So on horizontal plane we get the top view, where we are looking from the top, and the projections of object we get on the horizontal plane. The object is here and we are looking from the front, so this is the front side view. We are looking from the front, so we get the projection on the vertical plane. If you are looking from the top, we get the projection of a top view on the horizontal plane. Projection of the object we get on the horizontal plane or the top view. Projection of the object we get on the vertical plane or the front view. So which are the auxiliary planes? We will see auxiliary planes. So auxiliary vertical plane, auxiliary inclined plane and profile plane. So you can see here vertical plane, horizontal plane are the reference plane. So this is the auxiliary vertical plane. Auxiliary vertical plane, plane perpendicular to the horizontal plane, plane perpendicular to the horizontal plane and inclined to the vertical plane, and inclined to the vertical plane. You can see here perpendicular to the horizontal plane and inclined to the vertical plane. So you can see here some angle is there between the vertical plane and auxiliary vertical plane. So this plane is vertical plane is perpendicular to the horizontal plane. Similar to that, this auxiliary vertical plane also perpendicular to the horizontal plane, but this plane is inclined to the vertical plane. It makes some angle with the vertical plane. You can see here. So this is the angle it is making with the vertical plane. This is the angle, and it is perpendicular to the horizontal plane. So auxiliary inclined plane, the second plane, we'll see vertical plane, horizontal plane, and this is the auxiliary inclined plane. Now the plane is perpendicular to the vertical plane. You can see here the plane, this plane is perpendicular to the vertical plane. This angle is a 90 degree, but the plane is inclined to the horizontal plane. So two conditions we are getting. The plane, that is auxiliary plane, may be perpendicular to the horizontal plane, may be perpendicular to the vertical plane and inclined to the other plane, and vice versa. Perpendicular to the horizontal plane, inclined to the vertical plane, auxiliary vertical plane, perpendicular to the vertical plane, here perpendicular to the vertical plane and inclined to the horizontal plane, it's a auxiliary inclined plane. And third one is the profile plane. So profile planes are perpendicular to the both the planes. So these are for the side views. So the view of the profile planes is perpendicular to both the planes. So this is the perpendicular to the both the planes, perpendicular to the both the planes, perpendicular to the vertical plane as well as perpendicular to the horizontal plane. So if this plane is put at this end and this end here, so it becomes the LPP, left side profile plane. And if you can put this plane at this point, so this plane is perpendicular to the vertical plane as well as horizontal plane, we called it as a RPP, right profile plane. So this becomes the right profile plane, this becomes the left profile plane. You are looking from this side, so this is the front view. You will get front view on the vertical plane, you will get the top view on the horizontal plane, and you will get on the left side on LPP you will get the right hand side view. On this plane you will get the left hand side view. Okay, vertical plane, horizontal plane, LPP, LP. Okay, I will write here left profile plane. So this plane is the RPP, right profile plane. You are looking from this side, so this is your left hand side, this one is your right hand side. So on left hand side you will get LPP, on the right hand side you will get RPP. LPP, RPP. Profile planes perpendicular to the both the planes, horizontal plane as well as vertical plane. Auxiliary inclined plane perpendicular to the vertical plane, and inclined to the horizontal plane, this auxiliary vertical plane perpendicular, so this is the perpendicular to the HP and inclined to the VP. So two types of planes, we have two types of planes, principal planes and auxiliary planes. Principal planes, we get the, on HP we get the top view, on VP we get the front view. We are looking from the front and we get the projection on the vertical plane. If we are looking from the top, we get the projections on the horizontal plane. So vertical plane, horizontal plane. On this side the plane is there and the plane is perpendicular to the vertical plane as well as horizontal plane. This is called as a RPP, profile plane, right profile plane. On this side we get the left profile plane. If the plane is inclined to the vertical plane, is inclined to the vertical plane perpendicular to the horizontal plane, called as a AVP, auxiliary vertical plane, and the plane is inclined to the horizontal plane perpendicular to the vertical plane, we get the auxiliary inclined plane. Okay, we are moving further. So how exactly this plane creates the quadrants? We will see the quadrant systems. So quadrant system starts with the reference planes. With the interaction of the reference plane, we get the quadrants, 4 quadrants. So they exactly use boundaries for the quadrants. So this plane is particularly VP, vertical plane perpendicular to the ground. Vertical plane is perpendicular to the ground. So this is the vertical plane, and the another plane is the reference plane is the horizontal plane. So you can see here horizontal plane. So horizontal plane is parallel to the ground. Horizontal plane parallel to the ground, vertical plane perpendicular to the ground. And if we are looking towards this quadrant system from this side, so we get here interaction of this plane as a point. So now we'll draw from the side view, from this side view we are looking towards this planes, that is reference planes, and we can see the structure like this. So like the horizontal line, so x coordinate system, as we are using on the graphs, x coordinate system, and the vertical plane for the VP, this is the y coordinate system. Okay, I will redraw this vertical line, so somewhat is inclined. Okay, okay, now we can see that. So this line, horizontal line, is for the HP. So if we are looking from the side, this is the HP, and if we are looking for this reference plane from the side, so we get the again another vertical line that is called as a VP, or in other words we can say this line is the X line and this line is a Y line, X coordinate and Y coordinate, Now you can see here the point of interaction of this reference plane. So this is point of the interaction of the reference plane. Means what? This line is indicating as a point. So this line of interaction between the two planes is indicating here as a point. And we have to make, with the reference of these two reference planes, the space into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So we got here 4 quadrants because of the interaction of these two reference planes, horizontal reference plane and vertical reference plane. Okay. The first, second, third, fourth. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So we'll see which space exactly called as a first quadrant. So for first quadrant we can see, so this is the horizontal plane, this is the vertical plane. So before that we have four words. The first word is the above. The first word is the above. Okay, I will write here the word here. Okay, above. A B O. Above. Above means at some height. Above means at some height from that particular place. At some height from that particular place. Like upside, upside, upside from the horizontal. Above. Another word is the behind, below. Opposite word above and below. So downside of from that particular plane. Downside from that particular plane. Above, below. So now we can see here horizontal plane is given, and these two words are referring with the help of with respect of this horizontal plane. So these words are using with respect to the horizontal plane. Above the horizontal plane, below the horizontal plane. So you can see here, if anyone says above the horizontal plane, means that object, particular object, is at the upper side of this horizontal plane, anywhere upper side of this horizontal plane. This is the horizontal plane and upper side of this horizontal plane. Above the horizontal plane. Below the horizontal plane means that object lies below this horizontal line. So this is the horizontal line or horizontal plane, and the object lies below the horizontal line or horizontal plane. So another two words with the reference to the vertical plane. So with help of those two words we can say exact position with respect to this vertical plane. So which are those? So the first word is in front of. In front of. So or in short form is IFO. In front of. In front of. In front of. From this point, front of this side. From in front of. So in front of vertical plane. In front of the vertical plane. And the last word is the behind. 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 Backside. Backside of this vertical plane. Behind the vertical plane. So we get four words, and those words are showing the reference with the reference plane. Location of the particular object with reference to these reference planes. The reference planes, horizontal plane and vertical plane. So now with the use of above the horizontal plane means it is upper side of this horizontal line, and with the combination we can use in front of vertical plane. So we get the first quadrant. Where we got first quadrant? Above the horizontal plane, the object is in first quadrant, means the object is above the horizontal plane and in front of vertical plane. In front of vertical plane. So object bounded by this vertical plane and horizontal plane is in the first quadrant. Object bounded in this vertical plane, horizontal plane is called as in the first quadrant. So object may be on the horizontal plane or above the horizontal plane. Object may be in the vertical plane or in front of the vertical plane. Means if the object is here, we can say object in the vertical plane, and object is moving further, means object is in front of the vertical plane by some distance, by 30 mm, 40 mm, 50 mm, like this. Or object is on the horizontal plane or in the horizontal plane, and it is above the horizontal plane. So we can say that the object is above the horizontal plane in front of the vertical plane. So we can say that for the first quadrant, we will write here for the first quadrant. So this is for the first quadrant, above the HP. So this arrow is for the above the HP and comma in front of VP. So this is in front of VP. In above the HP in front of VP. The object is in the first quadrant. Object is in the first quadrant. So now we will see for the what we can say for the object in second quadrant, or how to identify the object is in the second quadrant. Okay, so I will erase some ink on this slide. So erase all ink on the side. Okay, now we'll see for the second quadrant. We are looking for the second quadrant. So again I will draw the X line and Y line. Okay, so this is the HP, this is the VP. This one is the first quadrant, and we are now looking for the second quadrant. Now the first word is above the HP. So this position is above the HP. This position. Object is above the HP and behind the VP. You can see here behind the VP. It means that object is in second quadrant. So for first quadrant, above the HP in front of VP. For second quadrant, above the HP behind the VP. So for second quadrant, take note of this. Second quadrant, object is above the HP and behind the VP. Above the HP behind the VP. Above the HP means above the HP, object is above the HP and behind the VP. What happens in the first quadrant? Okay, so this is the object for the first quadrant. This is the object for the first quadrant. Observer is here. This object is above the HP in front of the VP. Above the HP in front of the VP for the first quadrant. What happens in the second quadrant? In the second quadrant means object is above the HP behind the VP. Above the HP behind the VP. Second quadrant. So now you can tell me the object in third quadrant. So how to identify object in the third quadrant? So similar to the first quadrant, you can say the object is below the HP. First of all, below the HP. Object is below the HP. So for third quadrant, we can say, so here above the HP, similar to this, below to the HP. So the one is the below to the HP. This one above to the HP. So below the HP, so you can draw here below the HP and behind the VP. The object is behind the VP. Object is behind the VP and below the horizontal plane. Below the horizontal plane. The object is below the horizontal plane. So third quadrant means below the HP, behind the VP. So right for now, fourth quadrant. Where is exactly object with reference to this horizontal plane and vertical plane. For fourth quadrant, so this is the fourth quadrant. For the fourth quadrant, we can write below the HP, and in front of VP. Below the HP and in front of the VP. And for the fourth quadrant, we can write it as below the HP, in front of VP. Below the HP, in front of VP. Now for first quadrant, above the HP, in front of VP. Above the HP, in front of VP. So object is here above the HP, in front of VP. For second quadrant, above the HP, behind the VP. For third quadrant, below the HP, behind the VP. For fourth quadrant, below the HP, downward side from the horizontal plane, in front of the VP, in front of the VP. So this is the position of a observer. So observer is looking towards this first quadrant. So this line is the y-axis or vertical plane. This is the y line. So we have written here y line, and this one is the x line. So if observer is looking from the front, so this line is the interaction of the x and y, or horizontal and vertical plane, x and y, or vertical plane and horizontal plane, x horizontal, y vertical. So interaction of these two planes gives us in front view a line. So that line is named as xy line. So this is the line xy line. So xy lines means observer is looking towards this first quadrant. So interaction line is the xy line. Interaction line is the xy line. And if you are looking from the front, we get the front view on the vertical plane. So whatever object is here in the first quadrant, okay, so this is the object in the first quadrant, and you are looking from this position. So you will get the projections of this object on the vertical plane, projections of this object on the vertical plane. So you will get the front view on the vertical plane. You will get front view on the vertical plane. So front view on the vertical plane. Now see the location of this front view with respect to the xy line. So you can see here the location of that front view is above the xy line. So this is the xy line, and the position of the front view above the xy line. So for the first quadrant, you can write front view is above the xy line. For the first quadrant, the object is in the first quadrant, the front view is locating above the xy line. So now you are looking the top view of your object is in the first quadrant. Top view of the object is in the first quadrant. So you are getting its projection on the horizontal plane. And this horizontal plane rotates in the clockwise direction. So you will get the position of this top view with respect to xy line, position of a top view with respect to the xy line below the xy line, and the distance between the top view and the line is equal to the object is in front of the vertical plane. So whatever distance object is in front of the vertical plane, at that distance object is below the xy line. So whatever distance object is above the horizontal plane, at that distance is equal to the front view of a object is above the xy line. So first quadrant, front view above the xy line, top view below the xy line. So note it down here. For the first quadrant, the front view of the object above the xy line, the top view of the object below the xy line. Front view of the object above the xy line, top view of the object below the xy line. Okay. So this is the object in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So this is the object in the fourth quadrant, that is below the horizontal plane, in front of the vertical plane, below the horizontal plane, in front of the vertical plane. Okay. So the same thing is given in the tabular form: quadrant, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So you can see the position of a observer, object, and plane. observer, object and plane. So in the first quadrant, what exactly happens? You can see here the combination. So here observer, object and plane. So observer, here is some object, and observer, object and projections are on the plane. So observer, object and plane, the positions of object with respect to the plane of a projection, that is above HP in front of the VP. So this object is above HP in front of the VP. Above HP uh, upside from this horizontal plane, in front of from this vertical plane. So vertical plane, horizontal plane. So second quadrant, so you can see here the object is here in the second quadrant. In second quadrant, what you can see, above the HP, behind the VP. So you can see here above the HP, behind the VP, and this is the observer, this is the plane, and this one is the object. So you can see here change in the combination, that is observer, plane and object. So projections are coming backside on the front vertical plane. So vertical plane, you are getting the projections of the object in second quadrant on this vertical plane for the front view. So for the top view, what happens? For top view, what happens? So again, observer, object and plane. Observer, object and plane. Front view, observer, plane and object. Above HP, behind VP. Third quadrant, object in the third quadrant means below HP, behind VP. Below HP, so this is the below HP and behind the VP. Behind the VP. So this is vertical plane. The object is behind the vertical plane. Below the horizontal plane. Behind the vertical plane. So what is the combination we got? So this is the observer, plane, object. Observer, plane, object. Observer, plane, object. Similar to the second quadrant, observer, plane, object. Observer, plane, object. So this is observer, plane, object. Observer, plane, object. For the first quadrant, you can see observer, object, plane. For the fourth quadrant, again observer, plane, object. Observer, object, plane. Observer, object, plane. Observer, object, plane. And for the fourth quadrant, below the HP, in front of the VP quadrant system. And how these quadrants are going to open? So this horizontal plane will rotate in clockwise direction. This horizontal plane will rotate in the clockwise direction. So whatever we get the top view in the first quadrant, that comes below the XY line. So this is the XY line, and after rotation of this horizontal plane, so we get the front view XY line, and this after rotation we get below the XY line the top view. Front view, XY line, top view. So this is the object in the first quadrant. Object in the first quadrant. Okay, moving further. So glass box concept. Now glass box concept for what? So object in the second quadrant and object in the third quadrant. So these planes are the transparent planes. These planes are the transparent planes. Means if the object is here in the second quadrant, you can see that object from the through the vertical plane. From this point you can see that object through this vertical plane. This vertical plane is transparent plane, so you will get projection on the front view on the vertical plane. So if the object in the third quadrant, object is in third quadrant, we are looking from the top. So this horizontal plane is a transparent plane, so you will get projections on the horizontal plane. So you will get projections on this horizontal plane. So as the planes are transparent, so for this you can see a glass box. So this is the one side of a glass, and you can see this is the box of a glass. So if the box is made up of a transparent material, you can see another edge of the glass. So this edge is the hidden edge of the glass. As the glass box is transparent, we can see the edges of the box, another edges of the box. So you have to draw these hidden edges also in the orthographic hidden edges of the. So if the object is keeping inside this glass box, you can see here, it means that you are projecting that object into on these planes. So you can say here, so this is the third quadrant, this is the HP, this is the HP horizontal plane, this is the VP vertical plane. So this side is the vertical plane, this side is the vertical plane, this side is the horizontal plane, this side is the horizontal plane, HP. So now HP below the HP, you can see here below the HP and in front of the VP, it means this one is the third quadrant. So if the object is kept inside this box, you will get projections or the front view, projections of the front view on this vertical plane. This is the interaction of the two planes, horizontal plane and vertical plane. So this line is the XY line. So considering this XY line, you will get projections on this vertical plane. So you can see that is the below the XY line. So XY line and the projection of the front view are below the XY line. Front view below the XY line. And you are looking the object from the top. So you will get projections on the top view on this horizontal line. So after clockwise rotation of the horizontal plane, so this is the horizontal plane, so clockwise rotation means in this direction, clockwise rotation means in this direction. So you will get top view is above the XY line. So what happens in the first quadrant? The object in the first quadrant means front view above the XY line, front view above the XY line, and top view below the XY line. Exactly opposite happens in the third quadrant. So front view below the XY line, front view below the XY line, and top view above the XY line. Front view above the XY line, top view below the XY line. Here front view below the XY line, top view above the XY line. So this is the object is in the third quadrant. This is the vertical plane, this one is the vertical plane, this one is the horizontal plane, and object is inside this box, glass box. So you can see the object from the top. You will get projections on this horizontal plane. So top view here, so top view is on this plane, here on this plane, top view. On this vertical plane you will get the front view. So front view position is the below the XY line, and the top view position is behind this vertical plane. So after rotation of this horizontal plane, that is clockwise rotation of this horizontal plane, you will get top view, XY line, front view, top view, XY line, front view. So this view, single view, is called as orthographic view, orthographic top view. This single view is called as a front view, orthographic front view. So in front view, what you required? Dimensions. So this dimension is required, length. This dimension is required, height. Dimension is required, front view, length, height. Dimension required for the top view. You are looking from the top. You are looking from the top. Which dimensions are required? You can see here the length as well as this width. So for the top view, you required length, comma, width. For the front view, you required length, comma, height. Length, comma, width, and length, comma, height. Okay. So how exactly draw the orthographic views, that is front view, top view, and left hand side view or right hand side view. Left hand side view means you are looking towards that object from the left side. If you are looking towards that object from the right side, that is the right hand side of your own, you get the right hand side view. If you are looking from the left hand side, you will get left hand side view. So how to draw those views we'll see in this slide. So this is the object, this is the object, you can see the object. This is the rectangle, you can see here rectangle, and it has some width. So this is the height, this is the height, this is the length, and this is, we can say, as a width. So this is the rectangular prism, you can say this is the rectangle prism, and this rectangular prism or rectangular bar. So how to draw this front view, top view, and left hand side view, that is orthographic views. So we have to get the projections of these views on the vertical plane. So on vertical plane we get the projection of front view. The projection of the front view gets on the vertical plane. The projection of a top view gets on the horizontal plane. Why? Horizontal plane is parallel to the ground. We are looking from the top, so we get whatever projections of the object are on the ground or plane parallel to the ground, that is horizontal plane. If you are looking towards the object from the front side, so we get the projections on the vertical plane, the plane perpendicular to the ground. So we'll see how we are getting the projections, that is front view and top view for this rectangular bar. Front view and top view for this rectangular bar. This is the object, front view, top view, and side view. So now this is the projection of this object from the front. So you are getting the projection of this point here. So these lines, projection lines, are perpendicular to the object as well as perpendicular to the plane, perpendicular to the object and perpendicular to the plane. This line is projection line. So on this front vertical plane, you get the projection of this front side. So only this area is visible from the front side. This area, blue area, is the visible from the front side. So we get the front view as projection of this point, projection of the another point, this is the third point, and last point. So rectangle, we can see a rectangular side. So what is the size of that rectangle? So that is the L and height. So this is the L, actual size of the rectangle, L into H, L by H. So we get the front view. So this one is the front view. Vertical plane, we are getting this front view. So now we are looking from the top. So those are the projections for this top surface. So this top surface is only visible from the upside. So you are looking from here, these are the projections. This is the horizontal plane, this is the horizontal plane. So you are getting the projection of this point number 1, this is 2, 3, and 4. So projections of these points means length, this is the length, and this is the width, length by width. So you can see here length into width. So this is the top view. Top view is on the horizontal plane, and this is the side view projections. You can see the side view of the object, again rectangle. Length is coming into the picture? No, in the side view only height into width. In the side view only come into the picture, this is the width of the object, this is the height of the object, width of the object and height of the object. So we get here the side view of the length into height. So how to draw on a single plane, that first angle projection method, horizontal plane, vertical plane, and profile plane. So this is the right side profile plane. So object, this is the object, you can see this is the rectangle box, another rectangle box on that box. So you will get projection. So projection for the whole dotted lines. So top view, again two rectangles are visible from the top side. So two rectangles on the horizontal plane, and this side view again 2 rectangles and this dotted line for this hole. So we'll stop here and we'll see this in the next lecture. So how to exactly draw this front view, top view and side view on a single page. How to draw this on a single page. So you can see here this horizontal plane is rotating clockwise direction. Horizontal plane rotating clockwise direction. So left hand side view, this is rotating in that side. Right hand side view, that is RPP, will rotate again on this side. RPP, if here RPP is there, then it will rotate in this direction. So horizontal plane will rotate in the clockwise direction. Horizontal plane is rotated clockwise from the left and profile plane is rotated anti-clockwise from the top, so that all these three principal planes lie in the single plane. So this making this all the planes into the single planes. Single plane means this is vertical plane. So horizontal plane is rotating in the clockwise direction. This one is the RPP is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So it becomes vertical plane, horizontal plane, profile plane. So projections in the vertical plane, horizontal plane and profile plane. Or if we are making them on single plane, then we get front view, top view and projections of the side view, left hand side view. Okay, left hand side. Okay, we will stop here. Thank you.